Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual class of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher. Children, we are in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic, and because of that we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean we are going to stop learning. So we are going to do many lessons which are very interesting from your textbook through the virtual class here. So let us do a lesson in English today. So children, the lesson that we will be doing today is a lesson in standard 4th English. Alright, and just look at what you can see on your screen now. You can see a laptop which is open, isn't it? Now what is a laptop, children? A laptop is a kind of a computer. Okay, you must have seen different kinds of computers. You must have seen computers being used at home. You must have seen your computer in schools. All right. When you go to a medical store also to buy something, or when you go to a sweet shop to buy something, there also you must have seen computers. So in today's lesson, children, we are going to learn a lot about computers. We will learn about the types of computers. We will talk about how computers work. Okay, and we will also learn many new things about the computer. So what is the lesson then? The name of the lesson is lesson number 23, that is computers. Now one kind of computer here you can see on your screen, that is a laptop. You can also see other kinds of computers. So have you seen these two kind of computers as well? So the one on the left hand side, that is a desktop. So you must have seen it in offices. When you go to your school office, when you go to your school library, there you might have seen this kind of a computer, which is a desktop. It is placed in a particular place. You cannot carry it around. All right. And then you have the tablet, the other one, the one on the right side, that is called as a tablet PC. So what is it? It is like a big size phone. You can carry it also from one place to another. So these are, children, different kinds of computers. Now in today's lesson, we will be learning right from the beginning as to how we started using computers, why we started using computers, and how come computers are so smart. So computers have a memory. Computers can use their brain and work also. But then it is we people, we human beings, who make this computer smart. We are the ones who make the computers intelligent. And how do we do that? That also we will learn shortly when we see this lesson based on computers. Okay, so if you have your textbooks with you, please open your textbook. You should, in fact, whenever I'm teaching a lesson here in English, you should open your textbook and come to the page where I am teaching so you can follow me. All right. So please open your textbooks and come to page number 51 in your textbook. So we will see more about computers today. So let us start by understanding why the need was felt to make or to invent this kind of a machine. Computers are machines. Okay, they make our work easy. So whatever makes our work easy are called as machines. So let us see why we started using computers in the first place. So children, these are certain basic operations in mathematics. All of us know this. Since the time we were in the first and second standard, we've been learning about numbers, and then we have been learning about operations on numbers also. So these are the basic mathematical operations. So you have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So when you add something, what do? We call it jodna. When you subtract, you remove a particular number from another number. So these are all the different mathematical operations. Okay. Now, many of us have done these mathematical operations. So if these numbers are small, whenever there is a mathematical operation, you use numbers, isn't it? You try to use a number, you try to multiply the number with another number, you try to add a number to another number. So you basically use numbers. Now, when the numbers are small, for example, see in this case, it is 9 plus 1, 10. So the number is very small. When the numbers are small, you can do it very easily and without making mistakes. But suppose the number is a little big, what do? We try to make use of the calculator. Alright, but remember children, calculators you are not supposed to use when we are in school, okay? Now when you pass your 10th standard, when you go to a higher class, there when you're doing engineering or something, you will be allowed to use the calculator. Now in school, of course, you are not supposed to bring the calculator. But for very small numbers, we try to do it on our own. For a little larger number, we try to use a calculator. But what if the numbers are really big? So see, if you want to multiply also. Now this was about addition. Okay. Now suppose you want to multiply. So I want to multiply 7 into 6. Or I want to multiply 6 into 7. How will I do it? I can do it using the tables. We all know tables. Tables from 1 to at least 20. You're supposed to know now when you are in the 4th standard. Okay. So we know tables. So whenever you are supposed to do a sum on multiplication or when you're supposed to do a sum on division, then you're supposed to know these tables. Okay. So this is how we do all these mathematical operations which are smaller in size very easily and correctly also. But sometimes when we do these operations, whether we're using a calculator or whether we are not using a calculator, we tend to make some kind of mistakes. So mistakes can happen when we human beings try to do some mathematical operations. Okay? If the number is very big and if the number is very confusing, then there is a bigger chance that we will make a mistake or we might get confused also many a times. If your teacher gives you a really big sum to do, what do? You hold your head, isn't it? You get very confused. So when there are such cases, when there are such calculations which are very complicated or where there are very large or big numbers, then what should you do? Then you should try to make use of a machine that will help you to check your answers also, to recheck your answers also, and also to avoid mistakes, and also it will save your time. Okay, that is when the computer comes into use. So we make use of computers so that it helps us to solve many of our problems, not only in maths children, but also in many other subjects very, very easily without any mistakes and using very less time. So computers help us to do work in a very less fraction of time. Okay. See now let us understand what the different parts of the computer are. So we just saw that computers can solve most of our problems and also you can carry out very difficult calculations with a lot of speed and accuracy. Now that is very important. Speed is important and accuracy is also. Accuracy means correctness. Okay. So now look at this. This is a computer for you. This is how a computer looks like. So you have the monitor, you have the screen. Okay, the monitor or the TV small thing is called as a screen. Now I will not show you this one because see I already showed you a desktop computer. Let me show you in the beginning of the lesson. See, this is a desktop computer. Alright, but this is a little older version of a desktop computer. Now this is a newer version of a desktop computer. See here this one. Okay, which has got a flat screen, which is the monitor. Then you can also attach speakers to your computer. Okay, nowadays computers can speak to you also. So you can attach speakers and then you have the system unit which is used in order to process all the brain of the computer is in the system unit. Then you have the mouse. You know what a mouse is? Now look at your screen. See, you can see this arrow going round and round on your screen here. Here you can see it. I am using the mouse to move that particular arrow. And then of course you have the keyboard. The keyboard is where you want to type something, you use the keyboard. So these are all the different parts of a modern computer. Okay. Now computers cannot do just maths. We talked about maths, isn't it? When you want to add something, when you want to multiply something, and if you want to do large calculations, we make use of computer, I told you. But remember children, mathematics or doing mathematics is just a small part of the work that computers can do. Computers can do a variety of work. Computers can be used in banks, it can be used in hospitals, it can be used in your homes, it can be used by different professionals like doctors, lawyers, etc. Okay, so a computer can multitask. That means it can do a number of activities at the same time. It can add also, it can give you information from Google also. So there are very, very few things that a modern computer cannot do. So other than calculations, calculation means it's a very simple work, a simple job for a computer. All right. So see, computers can solve problems and carry out the most difficult calculations with amazing speed and accuracy. Not only the speed is good, sometimes see people work very fast, but their work might have a lot of mistakes. But in this case of the computer, computers can solve problems and carry out the most difficult calculations with amazing speed and accuracy. Okay, so your work will be done fast also, and your work will be done correctly also without mistakes. So that is a very important thing. Now children, let us try to understand how the computer can do so many things. So a computer has got memory. Now look at this. What can you see here on the screen? You can see a human brain on the screen. What is this? It is a human brain. Now, whatever we do, whatever we say, whatever we learn, whatever we read, everything is stored in our brain in the form of memory. Okay, you must have gone to visit a place with your parents last year. Now, when I tell you, suppose you had gone to visit Delhi. Now, when I say Delhi, suddenly you will see all those images dancing in front of your eyes. Okay, going to Delhi, seeing India Gate, and seeing so many other things. Where does this come from? Where do these images come from? They come from the memory. Now, where is the memory located? It is said that it is a brain which helps you to store all this information. Okay, so just like the human being has got a brain and has got a memory, the computer also has got a brain and memory of its own. See, these are all the places where the computer stores the information. So just like the human being has got a brain in which we store information, the computer stores information on these memory units. So all these memory units are like the brain of the computer, or we can also call it as the memory of the computer. So a computer can store a lot of data, or it can store a lot of information in its memory. Okay, so it can keep words, it can keep pictures, it can keep sounds, and the moment you ask for something, the computer will immediately give you that piece of information. Now, how does all this information enter into the memory of the computer? So let us find out that. So computers can process any kind of data or information according to the instructions given to them. So when you buy a new computer, you have to give the computer a lot of instructions. Instruction means you have to literally teach the computer to do things. Okay. So now that is done using software. So what is the software in a computer? It is a set of instructions which are given to the computer to solve any problem. Now remember, the computer has got memory, the computer is intelligent, but all that is not its own. The memory, the intelligence has been given to the computer by us human beings. Okay, so whenever you want the computer to work for you, whenever you want the computer to solve a problem for you, you are supposed to always give it instructions. The computer needs instructions. Without instructions, the computer will never be able to work.
Okay, so all these instructions which you give the computer is called as the software. Now remember, me and you will not give information to the computer, okay? When you buy a computer from the shop and bring, the software or the instruction is already inside the computer. It is already present in the computer when you buy it from a shop. Okay, so now this process of putting or instructing a computer is called as computer programming. And the work, the way in which these people do it, that is called as computer programming. Okay, so instructing a computer to do some kind of work is called as programming the computer. So giving instruction to the computer means you are programming the computer. Now, does the computer have any intelligence of its own? Can the computer think? Can the computer take decisions on its own? Can the computer, you can say, behave like a human being and make judgments? Not at all. The computer just follows instructions blindly. And where do the instructions come from? The instructions have come from the brain of the programmer. Okay, so in a way, no matter how intelligent the computer is, it is working according to the instructions of a human being. So that means if the computer has to work fast, if it has to work accurately, it needs to have good instructions. So it is a human being who actually runs the computer. He gives instructions to the computer. Okay, see? And that is why these people are called as programmers. The people who instruct the computer, who give it guidelines, or who program the computers are called as the computer programmers. Okay, now let us try and understand how writing instructions for the computers is done by these programmers. So they use their own languages. There are many languages also in which they write, children. Now you will, as you grow higher, bigger, you will come to know that. Okay. But remember, computer has got its own language. Now, when the instructions are written, they have to be written very, very carefully. For example, if your mother tells you to get a bottle of water from the fridge, your mother will not tell you first go open the fridge, then pull out the bottle, and then close the fridge, and then walk to me with the bottle. Will she tell you all these things? No. She will tell you, go and get a bottle of water from the fridge. That's all. You are a human being, so you know that when you go to the fridge will be closed. So you have to open the fridge, you have to remove the bottle. After removing the bottle, you cannot keep the fridge open, so you have to close the fridge and then you have to bring the bottle to your mother. But remember, computers cannot make their own judgments, they cannot think, they follow all the instructions word to word. So the instructions have to be written very, very carefully. If you're writing instructions for the computer, the programmers have to write it very, very carefully. They have to be very careful. And the instruction must cover each and every step which is involved in the operation. Like I told you, when your mother tells you to bring water from the fridge, she has to just tell you to bring water. But suppose you want the computer to do some work for you, you have to tell each thing to the computer. Every step has to be told to the computer in any operation. If you miss a step, the computer will not correct it. Okay? If you miss a step, the computer doesn't have the judgment. It doesn't have the intelligence to correct you. So it will keep doing the wrong thing. If you miss a step, if you give a wrong instruction, the computer will keep repeating your mistake. So you have to be very, very careful when you're writing instructions for the computer. So you have to imagine every step involved. Think, if you have to do one thing, think about all the steps which are involved in it. To help you with understanding how instructions are written for the computer, let us take this exercise from your textbook. So suppose your mother has asked you to go and buy vegetables from the market. Okay? So here she's telling you to go and get vegetables. you have to divide this task into smaller ones. So when your mother is telling you go buy vegetables, you have to break this task up. If you're going to tell this to a computer, you have to break it up. How? You have to think that first you will go to the greengrocer's shop. Greengrocer means a vegetable seller. Second step will be, you will go with bags, of course. Second step will be, you have to pick up the vegetables that you want, and then you have to pay for them also. The third and final step will be, you have to come back home with the vegetables. So see, your mother is just telling you to go buy vegetables. You're a human being, so you know that you have to do all these things. But if it is a computer, you will have to tell them these steps in detail. Not only these steps, you also have to tell your computer each step in more detail. So what are the finer details? What are the more details? Let us see here. You will have to subdivide these tasks into smaller ones. So going to the greengrocer's shop. So that much is not enough for the computer. The computer has to be told, okay, going to the greengrocer's shop. After going there or for reaching there, what all you will do? So going to the greengrocer's shop means take a bag for the vegetables, take money for the vegetables. These are two important things. Of course, your mommy will give you the bag, she will give you the money. But then the computer, if you're doing, you have to tell the computer all these things. See how you're supposed to write the instructions. Then start from your house. Of course, if you don't start from your house, will you reach the shop? But the computer doesn't know it. So you have to instruct this also to the computer. Start from your house. Walk down the street. Turn right or turn left. After turning right and left, again walk down the street. Cross the street. Enter the grocer's shop. So see, one step going to the greengrocer's shop, I broke it down into so many smaller steps. Okay, now let me give you an assignment over here. So there are two more steps here, children. Step number 2 was picking up the vegetables you want and paying for them. So just sit down and imagine that you are telling this to a computer. Okay, you're asking the computer to go to the shop, buy vegetables and come back home. So for going to the shop, you have written all these instructions. Now imagine you have to tell the computer that the computer has to pick up vegetables and he has to also pay for them. So then what all instructions will you write? Imagine, think, so that the computer should not make a single mistake. Remember, if you drop a step, if you miss out a step, the computer will not do that only. Alright, so think about it and write steps for the next 2 things that you will do. That is, first you pick up the vegetables and you will pay for them, and then you will come back home. So for coming back home, what all will you do? You will start from the greengrocer's shop, and then what will you do? Okay, so write these 2 programs now for a computer. Imagine that you have a robo with you at home and you want to send this robo to buy vegetables, and then you're writing all these programs for the robo, which is a computer. Okay, so this is an assignment for you. So now you can imagine that even though the computers feel that they're very smart, it is we human beings who have made the computer smarter. Without us writing instructions and programs for the computer, it will be of no use. So if you compare a human being with a computer, who do you think is more smart? Who do you think is smarter? Of course, it is a human being which is smarter, because the human beings are the people who have made these computers. So the maker, the creator, is always smarter than the creation. Alright, so this was about computers, children. Now we will go to these small exercises. There are not too many exercises in your textbook. There are just a few of them. Let us try to do them now here. So read the sentences and choose the correct alternative. So these 2 sentences are there for you now. Let us pick out the first one first. So mistakes are bound to occur. What is the meaning of mistakes are bound to occur? Does it mean there are no mistakes? Does it mean there are some mistakes? Or does it mean all mistakes are tied together? What do you think? Mistakes are bound to occur means there are some mistakes. So, whichever way you try to work, however diligently, however carefully you try to work, there are some mistakes which will happen, which may happen. Okay, so you should always consider that. It doesn't mean we are not good at our work, but sometimes human beings do commit mistakes. Let us go to the next sentence now here. There are few things that a modern computer is not able to do. There are few things that a modern computer is not able to do. Means a modern computer can do a few things. A modern computer cannot do a few things. Or a modern computer can do almost everything. Look at the first option. A modern computer can do a few things. Means it cannot do so many things. It can do only some things. It cannot do few things means here it means it can do a lot of things, but it cannot do some things. And a modern computer can do almost everything. Means out of 100, 99 things a modern computer can do. So, which is a statement which seems correct to you according to the passage? Yes, it is statement number 3. A modern computer can do almost everything. Okay, now we come to the last exercise in our textbook. Now, there are some other exercises also where you have to look at some mathematical operations and you have to do the operations in your book, and then you have to think whether you make mistakes when you're calculating something. Okay, and you also have to think and remember about the information that you have gathered and so many other things. But now there is one more assignment that we can do together. That is, you have to list the words related to computers that you find in this passage, and also you will add more words to the list. So the first part of the passage, first part of the exercise we will do now, we will discuss together and we will try and do it. And the remaining part of the line, that is, find and add more words to the list, that we will do it at home, that is as a homework for you. So how will you find more words related to computer, children? Where will you find it? You will find it in the dictionary. You will find it on Google. Okay, so that will be your assignment. Now let me give you a few words related to computers which I have found in this passage. That is, the word machine is related to computers. Yes, because computer is also a kind of machine. What are machines? Machines are anything which helps to make our work easy. So the computer is also a machine. Then you have speed. We just discussed that computers work very fast. No matter what the volume of the calculation is, calculation might be very big, the numbers may be very large, but the computer can work fast. It can also work accurately. So accuracy is one more word related to the computer in the textbook. Accuracy means correctness. If someone's work is accurate, it means he has not made any mistake. Okay. Then the next word that I found is modern. So what is a computer, children? A computer is a modern machine. So it is a machine which has been invented in the recent times. So it is not like 1,000 years old. Alright. So a computer is a modern machine and it helps us to make our life easier. Then the next word which I will take you is information. What does a computer give you? It gives you a lot of information. Okay. And then store. It can store a lot of data and information we discussed. Okay, it can keep so many things in its memory. So these are 6 words related to computer which I have picked up from the textbook. What you can do is you can pick up many more words related to computer. You can also search for words which are related even remotely to the computer. Okay, so this was lesson number 23. computers. We discussed about how computers work. We discussed about how computers make our life easy. And we also discussed a very, very important thing, that is, if you want a computer to work accurately for you, you should give it accurate instructions. You should give it detailed, step-by-step instructions. And doing this work of giving step-by-step instructions is done by these computer programmers who write these, you can say, programs for their computers. Okay, so that was all, children, for this lesson. Today, we will meet very soon again for another lesson in English.
So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, and after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned or the video that you just watched. So what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions and note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form. There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learnt a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.